Welcome back to part 2 of the introduction to this course. This one is going to focus primarily on syllabus content and assignments. This course actually has a lot of assignments. Again, very practice-based, but there's a lot to keep track of, so I'm going to run through them. Obviously, I'll provide more clarification as it gets closer to the assignment due date. But I just want to get you acclimated to the expectations and kind of give you a quick rundown of the assignments that you will have to complete over the course of the next 15 weeks. General expectations for the course. It's a hybrid course, so we utilize Sakai as the learning management software or program. I don't even know really what it's called. So you'll have to utilize Sakai for all of the online class dates, as well as utilizing Sakai to upload your assignments unless they're otherwise noted in the syllabus. If you need help navigating or accessing Sakai, please reach out to myself or IT or Sharnetta in the academic office. We can help you. I'm not super savvy with the student end of Sakai, but I'm more than happy to connect you or try my best. If you're running into issues, just please let someone know, and please let people know it. Like, don't wait till like the last minute, 5 minutes before you have to turn something in. That can get kind of wonky. So that kind of leads me to my second bullet point under Sakai is assignments are due on its due date at the beginning of the class period. These are assignments, not the Sakai learning activities for the courses, but the assignments that are listed in Sakai. If they're due on the 9th, it's at the beginning of class, which is 10:40. So some professors will leave a little bit of grace, like it'll be due at 10:40, but you can still upload it for another like 24 hours and just gets marked late. I actually lock mine right at the due date. Then you'd have to then email me, what we call the email of shame, and it's not to shame anybody. Again, this is regarding professional development. If you are writing a grant proposal and it's due at 11:59 and you go to turn it in at 12, they will not accept it. And all that hard work will be for nothing and you won't get the funding. So it's helping learn timeliness, planning ahead, all those different pieces of professional development. So hopefully that will never be an issue, but I just like everyone to know the expectations up front. Assignments for this course focus on experiencing and practicing skills and techniques and applying content that you learned. A big thing for this course is that you are assigned a practice partner. And as we go through the assignments, you'll see some of them are labeled partner. And so you do it with your partner, only have to turn in one copy of the paper or the assignment. You'll also be working with this partner to practice the skills and during practice labs. So you will get to know this person very well, for better or for worse. Late assignments, if you do not feel like you're going to be able to turn in the assignment on time, I tend to be flexible within reason as long as that's not taken advantage of. But I am asking that if you do feel like something is not going to be achieved in the time frame, I need to know at least 2-3 days in advance. Anything less than that, again, kind of goes back to that time management piece. Are you asking for an extension because you didn't properly manage your time? Or is there a real need for a modified due date? Prior notice does not mean 5 minutes before class or emailing me at 2 a.m. asking for an extension. There is a slight possibility I might be awake, but I really don't want to be emailing. And again, it kind of goes back to time management. You've really got to be on top of this stuff. Otherwise, it will snowball pretty quickly because there are a lot of things due. All right, here are your practice partners assigned for the class. So I kind of partnered everybody with kind of some of it was by chance, some of it was making sure. I know some students are newer to the program this year, so wanting to make sure everyone has good support. Some of that was partly due to the random name generator that I utilized. So these people will become your best friends for the next 15 weeks, or your worst enemy, depending on how things go. But let's hope for the former and not the latter. So we're going to be doing something in our learning activities on Sakai later in this online class, kind of like connecting and getting to know. But we will make sure everybody knows who everybody is in class on next week. All right, here is the laundry list of assignments that you are responsible for in this course. So I'm going to go through each one. Hopefully I can get through it in this 15-minute video. If not, we'll go over the remainder in more detail in class if I end up getting to the end and needing to rush a little bit. Well, let's hope not. All right, one of the first assignments that will be due is, and again, I tried to notate on here the due date and if this was an individual assignment or if it's one that you're doing with your partner. So this is individual. So everyone is responsible for creating what you would identify as your ideal office based on the materials we talk about in class. And so this might seem like busy work or something that might be a little bit weird. We're not interior designers, et cetera, but part of engagement in the general method is making sure you have a welcoming and safe space. And so paying attention to these details kind of sets the stage even before you open your mouth. And so you'll be responsible for crafting that. The easiest way to submit it will be taking a picture on your phone or whatever and then just uploading it to Sakai that way. It is due on a online class, so that'll be the best way to turn it in. Obviously, more details will come after the lecture because you'll be able to have the material and understand kind of what the expectations are. A biopsychosocial assessment. So this will be part of data collection. So during data collection, you're gathering all the information from multiple sources and looking at the different spheres of a person. And so this is a partner assignment. You will need to watch the video Simon Birch. And as I teach this class over and over, I realize how old I am when people have never heard of this movie. There might be a handful. I love this movie. Even as not an assignment-based movie, it is just wonderful. But you'll have to watch the video and complete a biopsychosocial spiritual assessment. I have the format for you on the main character, Simon. And so once we talk about the biopsychosocial in class, it'll make more sense. I do have copies of the video, but I do not have one copy for everybody. So make sure to plan ahead. I don't believe it's free on any streaming service. I haven't looked for a while, but last year there was not. So having to borrow it is the most cost-efficient way, or if you by some miracle have it already, that is awesome as well. You only need to do, again, like I said, one copy of this between the partners, and this gets uploaded to Sakai. All right. A Genogram. So this is part of data collection as well. It's an assessment tool that is used quite frequently in all areas of practice, regardless of the population or age of the population. It's a way to track kind of patterns and themes throughout a family's or an individual's family. So whether it's biological or those identify as a family. And so you can see the picture here. Looks a little bit complicated and a little bit bizarre, but don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to do a basic genogram. The intent is to do it on yourself. However, I do understand that sometimes that's vulnerable and not necessarily the safest way to do things. And so you are allowed to do it on a friend if that is more comfortable. However, you're going to get the most benefit out of it if it's a real person and not a fictional friend that you're telling me about, because it allows you to ask the questions and kind of truly develop some of those, the necessary data collection skills that we talk about. Again, I will give you handouts and lecture in class. You will get a hard copy in class because it is due on an in-seat day. And then I will put the grade in Sakai. You do not have to turn this in on Sakai. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Next one is practice labs. I keep moving my face because I put pictures in random spots. So the partner that was identified in the slide a few back, you will need to meet with weekly to practice the skills taught in class. So like I have mentioned ad nauseum, we practice in this class, teach tangible skills that you need to utilize. So you'll need to do this with a partner at some point. Sessions need to be about 30 to 40 minutes with each of you practicing this skill. You do not need to videotape this. You just need to fill out a practice lab form for each of the practice sessions. And so I have created a shared Google folder for each partnership, and so those will get shared with you. The template for the practice labs is already in there. I will pull that up during class because it's a little bit easier to see and explain in person, but that's where you can keep them, so you can type in them. You don't have to do any other way. But then I just ask that all 10 practice sessions get uploaded to Sakai so I can grade them all at one time. Do not turn them in ahead of time. I will lose them. So once they're all completed, that's when you'll want to turn them in. All right. No language but a cry reflection paper. Again, this is another partner based assignment. There is a book called No Language But a Cry that you will need to read. I have copies for everybody, so you do not need to buy it of your own self. And so we're going to be going through the general method, which is all of these different stages, and you will need to kind of assess and reflect on how the clinician in the book practiced all these different stages on the client. I will admit it is a little bit of an outdated book. And it's done, the provider in the book is not a social worker, but a psychologist. And so there's still enough overlap, and it's still enough content is relatable enough to be able to assess, but just know it is a little bit outdated. Some of the practices that they do in there are a little suspect, but it's a really good example of how an individual engaged with their client and kind of did treatment through a really difficult case. This just kind of gives an outline of everything you need in it, but we can talk more as it gets closer. Make sure it's APA format and upload to Sakai. Oops. So this is the big project, and some of you might have heard about it in talking to former students, or this is something that's completely new to you. You're responsible for videotaping 2 different interviewing sessions using the skills that we talked about and taught in class. And so these are individual assignments, although for the first video, you can complete it with your partner if you want, and you can utilize that as one of your lab sessions. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But the first video really focuses on the engagement piece. There's a lot of stuff in the engagement piece that it kind of requires its own video to make sure you know how to implement all of the skills that are needed for that stage. It's 10 to 15 minute video. The easiest way to turn this assignment is upload it to YouTube and submit the link to Sakai. Everybody has a YouTube channel associated with their Gmail account. That has been the easiest way that I have found. If there's a different method that you like better, feel free to have at it, or even let me know so I can tell other people. But that's typically the way that I do all of my videos. And then video 2 is a little bit longer. You go through data collection all the way through termination. And this is due obviously after you learn all those stages. It's a 20 to 25 minute video, kind of exploring all these different things that we're going to learn about. And this must be done with somebody outside of class. I found if we do this one with somebody who is familiar with the content, sometimes they will rescue you when you're kind of not sure what to do. And so doing it with somebody outside of class really allows you to practice the skills on someone who has no context of what we're doing. With video 2, you do have to provide a self-evaluation on how you feel you did completing the interview, and so that's the details there. We will be watching each other's videos 1 and 2 during class, so just be prepared that your peers are going to give you feedback on the videos as well. We take 3 different exams and quizzes during the course of this. The first will be a quiz on nonverbals, and that comes right near the beginning of the semester. It's very, very user-friendly. It's not like super hard content, but it's just kind of being aware of the power of our nonverbals and how that impacts our clinical abilities, for better or for worse. Exam 1 is I believe number 1 is in-seat, and then exam 2 is take-home. Exam 1 covers the first 3 stages. Exam 2 covers the second 3 stages. Again, attendance and participation is a component of your grade just because we need engagement in order to make this class purposeful. Please make sure all of your class or your papers are written in APA formatting. Use the Writing Center.